Hi guys, and welcome to another video from Stupid as the Norm, the channel where we demonstrate how to become a millionaire in 10 years whilst earning only minimum wage. And in this video I'm going to tell you all about the disappointing start to my first serviced accommodation property. So, serviced accommodation, the saviour of the buy-to-let marketplace. Well, my experience of my first serviced accommodation has been a tad disappointing. So just remind you why we got into this situation. I have 3 buy-to-lets already, but the income from them, the net income after management fees and mortgages, has reduced to less than half of what it was a couple of years ago. And that's because of interest rates creeping up across the world due to governments across the world printing money whilst we had to shut the world down because of COVID. But not to worry, because a knight in shining armour had appeared in the form of serviced accommodation. Serviced accommodation promised you get double or treble the amount of rent you would on a normal buy-to-let property because they charge by the day and not by the month. Now, to get into a serviced accommodation property, it needed more money, and that's because you need a bigger house. The more bedrooms, the better you maximise the income, which is typically £100 a day on short-term serviced accommodation. On top of that, I had to have a furniture package, so it has to be kitted out, if you wish, just like a hotel. Beds, knife and fork, linen, everything you need to stay in a hotel or a home of your own. And that furniture package cost a further £10,000. So all in, it's cost me £35,000 to get into my first serviced accommodation property. So the property completed the purchase at the beginning of October. The property was immaculate. The previous landlord left it so, needed no major refurbishment doing other than a lick of paint, which cost me £1,000. He'd left all the white goods, which were brand new, so it was a result. And I was expecting, so I'm told, about 80% occupancy, so I thought this is going to be great. So as I said, the sale completed on the beginning of October. Now, funny thing was that the person who was selling it to me, his letting agent, had an issue with my letting agent and wouldn't release the keys for a week. And I had to threaten him with getting the police involved for twocking if he didn't replace the keys or return the keys. So we lost a week there. And then we found out there was a 2-week lead time between ordering the furniture from the furniture package company to getting it into the property. Now, I thought you would have rang the furniture packaging company and said, what's your lead time? And if it was 2 weeks, you order it 2 weeks prior to that. But that didn't happen. So there you go. But so I lost 3 weeks right at the very beginning. After 3 weeks go, we get the photographs done, put it on Airbnb and booking.com, and we get a booking straight away. It went on the portals on the Friday and we had a booking Monday to Thursday. Fantastic, I thought. All my dreams are coming true here. The next week I got a booking, not for the next week, but for the following year. But you get paid straight away. So great. 2 weeks into it, 2 weeks of bookings. Fantastic. This couldn't get any better. Until that is 4, 5, 6 weeks go by when I didn't get a booking. So I go to my letting agent and I say, hey guys, I was kind of expecting 80% occupancy in here, but I haven't got a booking for the last 6 weeks. And they said, yeah, that's perfectly normal in these cases because it's a brand new property to Airbnb and booking.com. It's unfamiliar to the website. You need a few people in there to get in there and leave some nice reviews. And it takes about 3 months before the occupancy rate starts picking up, which is fine. That all makes perfect sense to me. But if they told me that, if they sort of kind of managed customer expectations and said, this may take 3 months, Perry, so be prepared and have 3 months worth of bills ready or money in the account to cover those 3 months worth of bills, I'd have been fine, but I wasn't told that. And when they went back to inspect the property and clean the property after the first people had been in, they found there was a little mark on the door which looked like being an attempted burglary. But the door didn't replace and it was fine, it was secure. So after 6 weeks, we get another week. Fantastic, somebody's booked another week here. Unfortunately, 2 days into it, there was another attempted burglary. Probably the same bloke, I guess. And the people who are living there wanted to move out, they didn't feel secure. Fully understand that. Please don't leave a bad review because it wasn't my fault. The property is absolutely beautiful. It's not the area. The area is fantastic as well. It's just, that's life. We all were a bit unfortunate there. But here we are today. I've had 3 bookings, 2 attempted burglaries. And what that leaves is the front door needs replacing. And we're going to think about putting another security door in between there and the lounge. So we're looking at 2 doors here, 2 security doors. I haven't had a quote yet, but I'm thinking 1,500, 2 grand. I don't know. It's not going particularly well. So I thought here I'd probably tell you a little bit about the numbers that are required to cover all the costs when it's empty. So right at the top we have council tax, which is £130. Then we have utility bills, which is £160 a month on average. The mortgage is about 345, let's call it 350. Insurance 36, and the management fee to not the management fee, but when you move into this property, you have to buy the furniture package, and I was given the option of paying £12,000 in a lump sum or £5,000 and then the rest over 3 years. I chose the latter because I needed money in my account to cover any emergencies and also to put towards the next one. So that monthly repayment for 3 years is another £345, I think. Add them all up, you come to £1,023. So for every month it stands empty, it cost me £1,023. At this stage I think, fuck it. I'll just convert it back to a buy-to-let, because if I do that, then I don't have all these added costs. The challenge with that is, because I bought it on a commercial mortgage, because I was buying the serviced accommodation, I'm paying a commercial mortgage rate, which is about 5.5%. So, and I'm stuck on it for 2 years, and if I come out of it early by swapping to a normal buy-to-let mortgage, I'm going to pay a redemption fee. So that's not really on the card, so I've got to keep it for a couple of years. And then I thought, you know what, you're being stupid here. It's a bit like, you know, when you go for a nice walk in the countryside, or imagine you're going for a nice walk in the countryside, and then you come up against a brick wall right across the path. It's 10 meters high, you can't go over it. Now, the first thing you think about is, well, we'll just turn around and go back. But it's not until you step back a couple of yards away from the wall itself that you see it's only 5 meters wide, and that you don't have to turn back, you've only got to go around it. And that's what I thought I was doing here. I was looking at the problem, panicking a little bit, but because I was so close to the problem, because my nose was so close to that wall, I couldn't see the solution. So I just stepped back a bit and I said, you know what? You're deciding to pull out this experiment, which might be a great little property, which might work fantastically well after only 6 weeks. You haven't even given it a start. These things, the serviced accommodation, must be looked at in the realm of 6 months to 12 months. So now is not the time for backing out. So I sat down with the lettings team and went through all the figures of all the other properties in the surrounding areas and found out it's not 80% all the time, that it's in fact seasonal, which you'd expect really. So it goes down to about 60% in the winter times and up to 90 to 100% in the summertime. And if you average it all out, yeah, it's probably about 80%, but there's that really dark bit in the middle where I am right now, which is unfortunately when I start, which is winter time, where it's going to be empty and I have to pick up the bills. So we came with a little strategy that said that why don't we charge less? Instead of £100 a day all year, we charge less in the winter time, say £50 a day, to get the occupancy rate up, and then we'll put the rent up to £100 a day when it's busier in the summertime, and that way it'll even out the peaks and troughs. Now the result of all that, when I've crunched the figures, is I was working on about £1,000 a month net every month. It won't get that, but what it will do, when I've done the figures and compared it to the buy-to-let, it will still bring me 2 to 3 times as much as what I would get if I converted to a buy-to-let. So what's the takeaway from this sad episode? Your route to wealth isn't going to be straight, it's not going to be linear, and neither is going to be easy. The world is not full of unicorns and rainbows. What I want you to take away from here is that you're going to have some problems on your way to wealth. It's not going to be smooth, and so you have to be ready and prepared. Prepared mentally, because you have to be ready for the kick in the balls, because it's going to come sometime sooner or later. If you buy enough of these properties, somebody said to me, somebody's going to trash your property. That's just the way it works. So don't get upset about it. Don't get precious about it. It's going to happen. So you're not being picked on personally. It's not the world or the universe turning around and giving you that kick of the arse because it feels you deserve it. It's just the way of things. When the numbers get big enough, it's going to happen. So expect to be mentally prepared for it. The other thing is be financially prepared for it. Try to keep a reserve there so you can overcome these little things, the £2,000 for the doors and such like, which fortunately I do have. And I think the other thing is that when you do get a problem, to step back from it. Don't get absorbed in it. Don't put your face against the wall so you can't see what's going on. To step back, look at it from the moon if you wish, and put it into perspective. Look at it from different angles. There's always a solution to every problem, guys. I hope you've learned from this. Don't be stupid and don't be normal.